Dear viewers, in this lesson, let us discuss about knowledge in the context of curriculum, syllabus and textbooks. The term curriculum refers to the lessons and academic content taught in a school or in a specific course or program. In dictionaries, curriculum is often defined as the courses offered by a school, but it is rarely used in such a general sense in schools. Depending on how broadly educators define or employ the term, curriculum typically refers to the knowledge and skills students are expected to learn, which includes the learning standards or learning objectives they are expected to meet. The units and lessons that teachers teach, the assignments and projects given to students, the books, materials, videos, presentations and readings used in a course, and the tests, assessments and other methods used to evaluate student learning. An individual teacher's curriculum, for example, would be the specific learning standards, lessons, assignments and materials used to organize and teach a particular course. When the terms curriculum or curricula are used in educational contexts without qualification, specific examples or additional explanation, it may be difficult to determine precisely what the terms are referring to, mainly because they could be applied to either all or only some of the component parts of a school's academic program or courses. In many cases, teachers develop their own curricula, often refining and improving them over years, although it is also common for teachers to adapt lessons and syllabi created by other teachers, use curriculum templates and guides to structure their lessons and courses, or purchase pre-packaged curricula from individuals and companies. In some cases, schools purchase comprehensive multi-grade curriculum packages, often in a particular subject area such as mathematics that teachers are required to use or follow. Curriculum may also encompass a school's academic requirements for graduation, such as the courses students have to take and pass, the number of credits students must complete, and other requirements such as completing a capstone project or a certain number of community service hours. Generally speaking, curriculum takes many different forms in schools, too many to comprehensively catalogue here. It is important to note that while curriculum encompasses a wide variety of potential educational and instructional practices, educators often have a very precise technical meaning in mind when they use the term. Most teachers spend a lot of time thinking about studying, discussing and analyzing curriculum, and many educators have acquired a specialist expertise in curriculum development, that is, they know how to structure, organize and deliver lessons in ways that facilitate or accelerate student learning. To non-educators, some curricular materials may seem simple or straightforward, such as a list of required reading, for example, but they may reflect a deep and sophisticated understanding of an academic discipline and of the most effective strategies for learning acquisition and classroom management. Since curriculum is one of the foundational elements of effective schooling and teaching, it is often the object of reforms, most of which are broadly intended to either mandate or encourage greater circular standardization and consistency across states, schools, grade levels, subject areas and courses. The following are a few representative examples of the ways in which curriculum is targeted for improvement or used to leverage school improvement and increase teacher effectiveness. When new learning standards are adopted at the state, district or school levels, teachers typically modify what they teach and bring their curriculum into alignment with the learning expectations outlined in the new standards. While the technical alignment of curriculum with standards does not necessarily mean the teachers are teaching in accordance with the standards, or more to the point, the students are actually achieving those learning expectations. learning standards remain a mechanism by which policy makers and school leaders attempt to improve curriculum and teaching quality. Another reform strategy that indirectly influences curriculum is assessment, since the methods used to measure student learning compel teachers to teach the content and skills that will eventually be evaluated. The most commonly discussed examples are standardized testing and high stakes testing, which can give rise to a phenomenon informally called teaching to the test. Because federal and state policies require students to take standardized tests at certain grade levels, and because regulatory penalties or negative publicity may result from poor student performance in the case of high stake tests, teachers are consequently under pressure to teach in ways that are likely to improve student performance on standardized tests. For example, by teaching the content likely to be tested or by coaching students on specific test taking techniques. While standardized tests are one way in which assessment is used to leverage curriculum reform, schools may also use rubrics and many other strategies to improve teaching quality through the modification of assessment strategies, requirements, and expectations. Schools may try to improve curriculum quality by bringing teaching activities and course expectations into alignment with learning standards and other school courses, a practice sometimes called curriculum mapping. The basic idea is to create a more consistent and coherent academic program by making sure that teachers teach the most important content and eliminate learning gaps that may exist between sequential courses and grade levels. For example, teachers may review their mathematics program to ensure that what students are actually being taught in every algebra 1 course offered in the school not only reflects expected learning standards for that subject area and grade level, but that it also prepares students for algebra 2 and geometry. When the curriculum is not aligned, students might be taught significantly different content in each algebra 1 course, for example, and students taking different algebra 1 courses may complete the courses unevenly prepared for algebra 2. Design and goals of any curriculum reflect the educational philosophy, whether intentionally or unintentionally, of the educators who developed it. Consequently, curriculum reform may occur through the adoption of a different philosophy or model of teaching by a school or educator. Schools that follow the expeditionary learning model, for example, embrace a variety of approaches to teaching, generally known as project-based learning, which encompasses related strategies such as community-based learning and authentic learning. In expeditionary learning schools, students complete multifaceted projects called expeditions that require teachers to develop and structure curriculum in ways that are quite different from the more traditional approaches commonly used in schools. In some cases, schools decide to purchase or adopt a curriculum package that has been developed by an outside organization. One well-known and commonly used option for American public schools is International Baccalaureate, which offers curriculum programs for elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. Districts may purchase all 3 programs, or an individual school may purchase only one, and the programs may be offered to all or only some of the students in a school. When schools adopt a curriculum package, teachers often receive specialized training to ensure that the curriculum is effectively implemented and taught. In many cases, curriculum packages are purchased or adopted because they are perceived to be of a higher quality or more prestigious than the existing curriculum options offered by a school or independently developed by teachers. The resources that schools provide to teachers can also have a significant effect on curriculum. For example, if a district or school purchases a certain set of textbooks and requires teachers to use them, those textbooks will inevitably influence what gets taught and how teachers teach. Technology purchases are another example of resources that have the potential to influence curriculum. If all students are given laptops and all classrooms are outfitted with interactive whiteboards, for example, teachers can make significant changes in what they teach and how they teach to take advantage of these new technologies. In most cases, however, new curriculum resources require schools to invest in professional development that helps teachers use the new resources effectively, given that simply providing new resources without investing in teacher education and training may fail to bring about desired improvements. In addition, the type of professional development provided to teachers can also have a major influence on curriculum development and design. States, districts and schools may also try to improve teaching quality and effectiveness by requiring or simply encouraging teachers to use either a standardized curriculum or common processes for developing curriculum. While the strategies used to promote more standardized curricula can vary widely from state to state or school to school, the general goal is to increase teaching quality through greater curricular consistency. School performance will likely improve, the reasoning goes, if teaching methods and learning expectations are based on sound principles and consistently applied throughout a state, district or school. Curriculum standards may also be created or proposed by influential educational organizations such as National Science Teachers Association or the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, for example, with the purpose of guiding learning, expectations and teaching within particular academic disciplines. Often called scripted curriculum, the scripting of curriculum is the most prescriptive form of standardized pre-packaged curriculum, since it typically requires teachers to not only follow a particular sequence of prepared lessons, but to actually read aloud from a teaching script in class. While the professional autonomy and creativity of individual teachers may be significantly limited when such a curriculum system is used, the general rationale is that teaching quality can be assured or improved or at least maintained across a school or educational system if teachers follow a precise instructional script. While not every teacher will be a naturally excellent teacher, the reasoning goes, all teachers can at least be given a high quality curriculum script to follow. Scripted curricula tend to be most common in districts and schools that face significant challenges attracting and retaining experienced or qualified teachers, such as larger urban schools in high poverty communities. A syllabus is an outline and summary of topics to be covered in an education or training course. It is descriptive, unlike the prescriptive or specific curriculum. A syllabus may be set out by an exam board or prepared by the professor who supervises or controls course quality. It may be provided in paper form or online. The syllabus is a contract between faculty members and their students designed to answer students' questions about a course as well as inform them about what will happen should they fail to meet course expectations. It is also a vehicle for expressing accountability and commitment. Over time, the notion of a syllabus as a contract has grown more literal, but is not in fact an enforceable contract. The syllabus ensures a fair and impartial understanding between the instructor and students, such that there is minimal confusion on policies relating to the course, setting clear expectations of material to be learned, behavior in the classroom, and effort on students' behalf to be put into the course, providing a roadmap of course organization or direction, relaying the instructor's teaching philosophy to the students, and providing a marketing angle of the course such that students may choose early in the course whether the subject material is attractive. Many generalized items of a syllabus can be amplified in a specific curriculum to maximize efficient learning by clarifying student understanding of specified material such as grading policy, grading rubric, late work policy, locations and times, other contact information for instructor and teaching assistant such as phone or email, materials required and or recommended such as textbooks, assigned reading books, calculators or any other equipment, lab vouchers, etc. Outside resources for subject material assistant, that is extracurricular books, tutor locations, resource centers, etc. Important dates in course such as exams and paper due dates, tips for succeeding in mastering course content such as study habits and expected time allotment, suggested problems if applicable, necessary prerequisites or core requisites to current course, safety rules if appropriate and objectives of the course. A syllabus will often contain a reading list of relevant books and articles that are compulsory or optional for students to read. As an indirect effect of this, scholars can count how many online syllabi include their works as a way of estimating their educational impact. The textbook is a book used as a standard source of information for formal study of a subject, an instrument for teaching and learning. It should be regarded as one of the many sources teachers can draw upon in creating an effective lesson and may offer a framework of guidance and orientation. Additionally, the textbook provides confidence and security for an inexperienced teacher who finds adapting existing textbooks challenging, especially for tailored work related courses. It is necessary to emphasize that no ready-made textbook will ever fit perfectly every language program. There is no ideal textbook, ideal for every teacher, ideal for every group of learners and ideal in every teaching situation. Moreover, teachers' reactions to using ready-made textbooks are manifold. Many teachers are required to use textbooks and are bound to the textbook in its existing form. Since this simplifies class preparation for teachers, this is acceptable for some teachers who eventually begin to over-rely on textbooks and decide to follow the textbook closely, making no or only small essential changes and additions. On the other hand, some teachers reject the textbook approach to learning and wish to make substantial changes to the textbook they need to use. Adapting a textbook to fit actual needs of a group of learners is a demanding and time-consuming process. Apart from lack of time and resources that majority of teachers state to be the main obstacles in adapting textbooks, teachers also need training and experience in modifying textbooks. It is not only the teachers who have a significant impact on the use and modification of textbooks, the learner's reaction to textbooks needs to be taken into consideration as well. For the learners, the textbook is one of the most important sources of the contact they have with the language. It is a framework or guide that helps them to organize their learning. It is helpful to involve students in the process of adapting textbooks. Consequently, they would feel that their needs are respected and they would feel much more motivated to successfully finish the course. The use of textbooks in teaching has both advantages and disadvantages depending on how they are used and what the context for the use are. What one teacher considers an advantage in a textbook, another teacher may consider a disadvantage. The following list contains the most frequently stated advantages of using textbooks. It provides a syllabus for the course because the authors of the syllabus have made decisions about what will be learned and in what order. It provides security for the students because they have a kind of a roadmap of the course. They know what to expect and they know what is expected from them. It provides a set of visuals, activities, readings, etc. and so saves the teacher time in finding or developing such materials. It provides teachers with a basis for assessing students' learning. Some textbooks include tests or evaluation tools. It may include supporting materials like teacher's guide, CD, worksheets and video. It provides consistency within a program across a given level if all teachers use the same textbook. If textbooks follow a sequence as within a series, it provides consistency between levels. Textbooks also have limitations which can lead to the teachers and the learners' dissatisfaction with the course. The following list contains the most frequently stated disadvantages of using only ready-made textbooks. The content or examples may not be relevant or appropriate to the group, and they may not reflect the students' needs, since textbooks are often written for global markets and often do not reflect the interests and needs of students. They may contain inauthentic language, since texts, dialogues and other aspects of content tend to be specially written to incorporate teaching points and are often not representative of real language use. The content may not be at the right level. There may not be the right mix of activities, too much of X, too little of Y, like that. There may be too much focus on one or more aspects of language and not enough focus on others, or it may not include everything teachers want to include. The sequence of units is not in accordance with the real work related needs. The activities, readings, visuals, etc. may be boring. The timetable for completing the textbook or parts of it may be unrealistic. The textbook does not take the students' background knowledge into account. Graves suggests that in order to minimize difficulties when selecting textbooks, teachers should use the textbook as a resource for students but not the only resource. Use a textbook as a guide. Be free to modify, evaluate, develop, change, eliminate or add to the material in the textbook. Supplement the textbook with lots of outside readings. A textbook is only as good as the teacher who uses it, and it is important to remember that a textbook is just one tool, perhaps a very important tool in your teaching arsenal. Sometimes teachers over rely on textbooks and do not consider other aids or other materials for the classroom. Some teachers reject a textbook approach to learning because the textbook is outdated or insufficiently covers a topic or subject area. I like to think of textbooks as tools. They are only as good as the person using them. A hammer in the hands of a competent carpenter can be used to create a great cathedral or an exquisite piece of furniture. In the hands of someone else, the result may be a rundown shack or a rickety bench. How you decide to use textbooks will depend on many factors. I would like to add a personal note of caution here. Do not make the mistake of basing your entire classroom curriculum on a single textbook. A textbook needs to be used judiciously. A carpenter, for example, does not use only a hammer to build a magnificent oak chest. She may use a plane, chisel, saw, sander or any number of tools to create the masterpiece she wishes to build. A great classroom program, just like a great piece of furniture, needs many tools in its construction. As a student teacher, when thinking about how you want to use textbooks, consider the following. Use the textbook as a resource for students, but not the only resource. Use a textbook as a guide, not a mandate for instruction. Be free to modify, change, eliminate or add to the material in the textbook. Supplement the textbook with lots of outside readings. Supplement teacher information in the textbook with teacher resource books, attendance at local, regional or national conferences, articles in professional periodicals and conversations with experienced teachers. Remember, no textbook is perfect and no textbook is complete. It is but one resource at your disposal. Use it as a blueprint, a guidebook or an outline. Dear viewers, so far in this lesson we have seen about knowledge in the context of curriculum, syllabus and textbooks. Thank you.